Tell us about Newcastle Systems if people are not familiar.
If you are not familiar, we're in the business of making mobile powered workstations and battery systems that enable your people, the warehouse people, to take their common devices like computers and printers to where they need to go and do their work.
Yeah.
Makes them more efficient, makes them less fatigued, and makes them happier.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the carts are fantastic. I mean, I have a cart myself, 2 carts actually. Thanks to you guys, appreciate that. And I've used them in my past life too as well. And they make such a difference, as we've talked about a couple times on the podcast already. But I'm curious, as we are here at Modex, what are you guys showing off this week?
Well, we're showing, our whole theme this year, Kevin, is about the worker, and as opposed to metrics, which you get, right? As a manager, you get all the metrics, get all those great goodies, KPIs, but what we're really focusing on is the user and that worker and ergonomics and making their day better. Because, we know, as you talk to people here, labor is hard.
Yeah.
Hard to get people, hard to keep them. It's a difficult place. A lot of automation, but we're not in automation.
Yeah.
There is a person attached to our product, and I think I'm happy about that. But we just give somebody a tool that lets their day be a little better, maybe save them a few miles of walking, which they appreciate. And one thing I've learned over the years, 10 years now, is that at all pay grades, people want to be productive.
Yeah.
And people assume because someone's hourly, they don't really care how much they get done, but that's not true.
Right.
At least not from my experience. So when we give them this tool, they appreciate it, and they respect it, they take care of it, and they actually appreciate the company that bought it for them because they see it as an investment.
Yeah.
So we're really just talking about happier workers. How does our tool equate to that? And really, it's just less fatigue and less walking. It's just respect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's such a great point too, because I think there is that common misconception that, these hourly workers, like you said, are, gonna not care about how productive they are. But, I've been warehouse manager, worked in warehouses, and, I see the employees when their equipment doesn't work, I mean, they get frustrated, right? They want to do their thing. They want to go through and the more productive they are and the faster their day goes too, and in the mind, right? So it's good to have that, and you don't want to be slowed down by impediments like that. So I'm curious too. I mean, you guys are doing this campaign of I Heart My Cart, right? So tell us a little bit about maybe some of the very interesting reasons why people heart their carts.
Well, this is user specific. This is the actual person using the car.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might have seen this in your past life. That when I engage those people on the floor, they're very like, okay, what's this on the box? They're not used to a stranger.
Yeah.
And they're like, am I going to get reprimanded? No, we just want feedback.
Right.
And they're reluctant, but then when you get them to open up, they tell them, well, this is awesome, here's why. So we wanted to respect them and give them a voice as to why they like our product, why they love our product. Because the managers say that, but they're more into the metrics.
Yeah.
But this is, why do you love this? And so we're asking them, and then we're getting some, if you can get a chance to come down and get some cool pictures of real people using our products.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is like, I just like being efficient. I like having my stuff with me, basic stuff that you'd expect.
Yeah.
So it isn't surprising, but we're going to keep this thing going forever. First it was like, let's do it for 3 months, then 6, and let's just keep doing it.
Yeah. I mean, might as well. I mean, the carts aren't going anywhere, right? So, and the people are just going to get happier and happier with them. So you might as well keep it running. I mean, I think it's such a great thing, and it's great to see to be able to, like you said, put the focus on the user themselves, right? Because I think at the end of the day, when you really want to make a change in something that is truly effective, right? I mean, that's where you need to get the feedback from.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people here selling things. I mean, you can throw a rock and hit a robot right now, and that's intentional. I mean, if you can't get people to do things, you have to automate, right? And thankfully, we're tied to a product. Like, you have a screen, and someone has to dissect that screen and make decisions, whether it's WMS, what do I do? So we're still sort of in the automation space, but not really. We're almost like a hybrid automation.
Yeah.
So I do see us working closely with robotics, and if someone's going to be building a pallet, it's probably going to be automated at some point because no one wants to lift and do that. But then, okay, what do I do with the pallet now?
Yeah.
It's received. Okay, what's the next step? And I think we'll still be tied to that. And those people who make those decisions are really important, but very few people talk about them because they don't attend these shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you did, and you got ideas, and you back at your lighting past life. I mean, you found this thing probably because I don't remember. Do you remember why or how?
Do I remember why? No, they had them when I started working there. Actually, that's how I learned about them. And and once I realized like the power of them, I'm like, we got to get more. I'm like, you're not staying still anymore. Like you got to go to the product and all these things. Is such a time savings. Yeah.
Yeah. So you probably had some forward thinkers at that company, because that was a long time ago, and we've only been in business like 17 years. So this goes way back like 10 years. So somebody, I don't know, somebody just had this idea, like, hey, let's buy this thing and see what it can do.
Yeah. So I mean, we were running around. I think we had at one point we probably had about 10 or 12 of them in the company. So I mean, it's such a fantastic thing, and I'm curious too, as you're here at the show, and as people are coming by and checking out the carts, maybe discovering for the first time. What are some of the reactions? What are some of the feedback there?
Still the biggest challenge for us is a simple concept, this power source and wheels, right? And especially since you've been associated with them for a long time. But it's like, what is that? What do you guys do? And then you explain to them, and they're like, oh, I get it. Oh, yeah, scan my badge. I could use these here, and there.
Yeah.
So as a small company, we don't have a Super Bowl budget. So these kind of things, I appreciate that. I'm grateful for this, because it's exposure to this thing that is a problem of what do we really solve? It's people walking back and forth to common devices.
Yeah.
Our biggest competitor is a wall outlet. I mean, this building has all the wall outlets.
Yeah.
They're all there, and the work takes place out there. So where am I going to put my stuff? So,
I mean, I think it makes a ton of sense, and it's great to hear still that discovery going on too as well. And I think we say warehouses are sexy, right? And I think the thing is that, I think a lot of times the mind goes directly to like, oh, sexy, like robots, right? And things like that, the shiny objects. But I think the sexiness is in those kind of in-between things, like the things that you guys are doing to take care of those small processes and those small things that really, when you think, when you're up in the ivory tower or whatever, maybe you could say, and you're not necessarily thinking about what's going on the floor, every little thing, but those little things, they add up so much. And I think when you look at, the seconds, right? I mean, seconds turn into minutes, turn into hours, and all of that is dollars, right? At the end of the day.
And you know that like, most companies aren't enterprise companies; they're small to mid-sized businesses. Like that you had, where what that's like. You don't have the budget that these massive companies have for robotics, and that's a lot of money and infrastructure and support. So that's not even in their realm.
Yeah.
So what other things? That would be my challenge to those of you listening. If you're a small company, walk the show and really take your time, because there's a lot of cool stuff that doesn't cost a lot, like just like the storage things, and it's just really cool. It fascinates me every year coming here.
Yeah.
I get like everyone's going like, oh my god, look at this humanoid robot.
Yeah.
But can I afford that thing?
Yeah.
And some people have bought here, and they've told me like, look, I bought this thing and it made me really fast here, but then I just burden you all day.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't keep up anymore.
Yeah.
So what did I really achieve?
Yeah. I think that's such a great point. When you look at these solutions, you have to think about kind of the whole picture, right? Because you don't want to. You could fix one part, but if you're not looking at upstream, downstream, like you're gonna get a bottleneck in a sense, right? Like you're gonna say like, okay, we put a robot here, it's doing this, and now the person at packing is like, I can't keep up. What am I doing, right?
Yeah, and you know me, I think from our past conversation, I'm a geek about lean, and lean is really about enabling people. If you could give them lower cost tools, just make their jobs better. I think that is all over the place here. I haven't had time to even walk the show yet.
Yeah.
But that warehouse work, or maybe that sexy warehouse worker, right?
Yeah.
How do we give them better things to make their job better and easier, because they want that, and they'll as you work with enough people, manage enough people. It's cultural.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you treat your people? Do you respect them? Do you engage them? That seems to be our customer. They're looking for like, hey, I don't really want Julie walking 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
But I didn't know this thing was available.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to fix that, and then she's happy, and it's all good. And he's going to go find, or she's going to go find another thing here to do that same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think those little things are such a game changer. I mean, when you think about that, because even I'll give you an example from my past that I always kind of go to, and I think it's kind of an eye opener a little bit. Is we had a situation where we were shipping LTL products. Every pallet or every order that was going out needs 2 BOLs, right? One that goes with the driver, one that we keep. And in our system, when you printed the BOL, it only printed one copy. So the user had to go in, do the same process twice to get 2 copies every time. And I mean, we were shipping, 8 trailers full of LTL a day, and over time, you can think about, it's maybe I think it was a 2 or 3 second action, but over time, right? I reach out to IT. I'm like, oh, can we just print 2? Every order gets 2, so just print 2 at once, and we did that. I mean, over time, it's like about $10,000 a year in savings, right? So it's those little things, like you say, that make a difference, and I think you do see those in between here. I mean, I've even seen a couple around here too, as I've gotten out there a little bit, where it's like, it's a simple thing, right? It's not like gonna be the big thing that's like you're gonna be like, oh, this is fantastic, it's the latest technology and all these things, but it is gonna make that change, like you said, and it is gonna make a difference in the long run.
Yeah, and I would love to see a day when your audience brings the team with them. Not the engineers, not the IT or systems people, but the receivers. Because they'll say, like, I don't see that thing really helping me. Or, oh my God, I love that thing. I mean, it would save a lot of headache and pain, and it would make things better. But they don't, let's face it, they don't have this access to all this cool stuff.
That's true. Right?
So I know that it's hard, it's overwhelming for me just being here, and these folks walking around, it's a lot to take in. So I guess the more you can share with them about options, the better. Because there's a lot to see. I don't even know if you can actually digest it all in 3 days.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's huge. But maybe we could do a Modex on the road or something like that, and take these things to the people, right?
I love it. You're doing good work, and like it's such, like, last year was down year in the economy, so there's less things being consumed. Right? But I see consumer spending is rising up again, which means the warehouses will get busy again. And they need processes. They may not have budget, so they need to have great processes, and they need great people. And that goes a long way without spending a dime, as you know. Right? And it's the basic things in warehousing. Stuff comes in, it gets received, put away, picked, packed, and shipped. I don't care how big you are. That's kind of redundancies of the warehousing, as you know. And like, how do you make that a little easier for people? Get them to show up for work more often. Goes a long way to being profitable and competing.
Absolutely. And I always appreciate talking to you, Kevin, and even you as an early podcast guest for us as well, way back in the day now. But if people are interested in learning about Newcastle, what's the best way to do that?
I wish you didn't ask me that, because I don't have my badge on right now, but I know we're in C in the way back corner. Maybe.
So you go here at C Hall, or you can check out newcastlesystems.com, right?
On the app, or newcastlesys.com, and just reach out to me, Ledversis at newcastlesys.com. Happy to help answer your questions. Appreciate you having me, man.
All right, always good to see you, Kevin.
Kevin squared.
Team Kevin. There we go.
Cool, man. Thanks.
All right, have a good rest of the show. You too.